So welcome to Crafty Little Things. I'm Andrea and today I'm going to show you how to make this lovely waterfall mini album. This was my prototype and I've changed it a little bit because it didn't quite work for me. A tutorial from Mixed Up Craft where it was made this way, the front was this way, but I just loved the bright colours and it just gave me that inspiration, and I love the size. So I'm going to recreate this one, but I'm going to just, where I realised I made a couple of mistakes or things didn't quite work for the way I wanted it, I've kind of made a couple of changes. Okay, so what you need for this, I thought I'd show you everything you need so you can be all prepared, besides a paper trimmer of some sort and a score board or scoring tool of some sort. What you're going to need is quite a few bits. You're going to need quite a bit of cardstock, and we'll go through that in a minute. I've got 3 colours. This one I used for I used 3 different colours plus the white, but I'm only going to use 2 colours this time, the Tempting Turquoise and the Melon Mambo. The white and the Tempting Turquoise and Melon Mambo card, because it just turned out that I think it looked better that way for what I want. I'm going to be using the Woodward stamp set, and I'm going to be using the hearts, the stars and the moon, and the big flower here probably. And on the front I'm going to be putting thank you, using the thank you, or maybe the You're Fabulous, and using this little stamp as well. When I did my prototype I stamped each page with something different, and I love this one, so this is why I'm sort of sticking with that one. This one was from Background Basics, I think. I can't remember what that one's called, but I just preferred these ones, these bold ones, because this is for an album to have stickers, to have pictures stuck into. So yeah, I just thought they were better. And this is the reason I'm making this is because my daughter's going on a holiday, and one of her friends, with a group of friends, and one of the friends has done all the arranging, and so I thought it'd be nice to give her one of these, and then she can take some pictures while they're away, and then give this to her on the way before they set off home or when they get back, just as a little memento and to say thank you for the trip. So she's got a little sprocket so she can print out some pictures and pop them straight into there. So it might be thank you or You're Fabulous, I don't know yet. I'll make my mind up. And then I'm going to be using Tempting Turquoise and Melon Mambo ink. I'm going to be using some Fast Fuse and some Tombow. You can get away with just using a wet glue if you want. You can use a Pritt stick, whatever you want. You can use a snail or not use an adhesive tape at all. It's entirely up to you. You'll need a bone folder, and you'll need some scissors, and you need a tiny piece, a 4-inch piece of ribbon. I've got one here that sort of matches my Melon Mambo cardstock. I don't think this is Stampin' Up. I think it's just one I had in my stash, and but I just love the vibrant pink. Okay, so now we'll get down to measuring out the pieces that you need. I'll put all that aside to use as and when we need it. Oh, the only other thing is, on each page I'm going to stick a little bit of washi tape, and what I'm going to do is I've got this one that's quite looks like linen, and what I'm going to do is it's got numbers on it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp it up using the colours I'm going to use, and I'm just going to pop a couple of little strips onto each page. Right, so for the main outer body, if I get the outer body, then, you need this piece of cardstock, which if I just get my centimetre measurements, it'll help for me to share the centimetres as well. So for this piece then, you need a piece of cardstock. I'm using Tempting Turquoise, as I said, that measures 11 by 4.5 inches. So that's 28 centimetres by 11.4 centimetres. Okay, And you can see with this one, it's all been rounded off at the edges. So I'm going to do that as well. Then for each of these flaps, oh sorry, hang on. For each of these flaps, you need a piece of cardstock. So I've got 3 that are Melon Mambo and 3 that are Tempting Turquoise, and they measure 4 by 4 inches, so that's 10.2 centimetres square. And then to overlay onto these panels here, I've got 6 pieces, again 3 for each, of 3 3/4 square, which is 9.5 centimetres square. And there's 2 pieces I've forgotten. I've forgotten these covers, which are 5 1/4 by 4 inches, but I'll cut them. I've got some white there. So they're 5 1/4 by 4, so they're 13.3 inches, centimetres by 10.2 centimetres. So you have one on the front and one on the back, so I'll cut those in a second. And then for the mechanism, as I said, you need some ribbon. So I've got a 4-inch piece of ribbon, which is going to be folded in half and glued together. You can do that with a glue dot, some adhesive, whatever you want to do it with. And then you need a piece of cardstock that just strengthens your mechanism, and this measures 3 5/8 by 4 1/2. So that's the 4 1/2 side is 11.4, and the 3 5/8 side is 9.2 centimetres. And then you need the mechanism piece itself, which measures 9 1/2 by 3 7/8. So that's 24.1 centimetres, and 3 7/8 is 9.9 centimetres. And then the final piece is a 1-inch by 8-inch strip, and I've done this in the same colour as the backing. On the one I saw done, they use white, but I thought I'd use the same colour as backing. And that is 8 by 1 inches, which is 20.3 centimetres by 2.5 centimetres. Okay, so I just need to cut those 2 pieces for the front and for the back, and then we'll crack on. The reason I chose the blue, the Tempting Turquoise for the mechanism, is because when you use the white you can see it there more clearly, so I didn't want to see it, so I chose to do it a different way. So the mechanism pieces and the ribbon, you can get your ribbon stuck together. Fast Fuse does do the job, so just pop it together. And then just leave it to one side with the other pieces because you don't need them yet. And then I'm just going to cut those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a smaller piece on the inside. So I'm going to make, for that reason, to write something on. So it's 3 1/2 there. I'm going to make it by 4 1/2. I'll still decorate it, but I just want it to be smaller because that can have something written on it then. Okay, so I made that 3 1/2 by 4 1/2, so that's 8.9 centimetres by 11.4 centimetres. Now, you'll notice the thing I forgot to tell you that you need is the envelope punch board. And you'll notice that the corners have been rounded. Now you can round the corners using the envelope punch board, or use any corner rounder, or you don't have to round the corners at all. So this piece that's going to go inside, I'm going to punch all of the corners for that. The piece that's going to go on the outside, I'm going to punch all of the corners of that. The actual outside itself, I'm going to punch all of the corners of that. And then for your white panels, you'll punch all the corners. And for your blue and pink ones, you'll only punch 2 corners, because the straight edge is what you're going to stick down. We're stamping are the pieces that are going on our pink, the pieces that are going on our blue, and the front and the inside. Right, so the inside piece, I'm going to leave a little space to write something. And we're going to do some assembling now. So before I do any scoring, I'm just going to stick these onto these so that they can go to one side while we assemble the base. Now we're going to do some scoring here, so I may as well do all my scoring at once. So this measures 11, so at 5.5 we're going to score it just down the middle, and then we'll burnish that. Now the other 2 pieces don't need scoring. This is the only other piece that needs scoring, and this gets scored at 3 1/4, 3 1/2. Oh, try not to go off because it's 3 3/4, 4, 4 1/4. I can't believe my scoring is 4 1/2. And 4 3/4. So from here on in, I kind of say we've got a short side and a long side with the scoring in the middle. and you want to keep your short side sort of on the right hand side, okay? For assembly purposes, now you can get rid of all of this because you don't need any of it, and all of that. You need that. Right, so get your bone folder, decide which is going to be your outside. And then you can see that kind of makes like a roller effect, and that's exactly what you want. Now, what you want is the roller effect bit upwards and your short piece. You can see I call this the long piece. Here's where my score lines end. This is the long piece and this is the short piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover those score lines with fast fuse. Now you can cover them with whatever glue or adhesive tape or whatever you like. I just think fast fuse is just really good because it sticks straight away, and sometimes for that reason it's not so good because it sticks straight away and you can't make any mistakes. Just make sure you, if you're not doing it on a silicone mat, which you probably should be doing it. Right, so I'm just not quite up to the edge there. That's it, and I've missed a bit there. Right, so now you take your little cards and start with the one at the back. And you have, in total, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 score lines. So your first card wants to butt up, not to the first score line, but to the second score line. So make sure it butts right up to that. And you'll have a tiny little fraction, like a 1/16 of an inch overhang. So try and get that equal on both sides, okay? And then just push down. And then your next one goes up to the next score line and put the score line that's furthest to the left. Okay, so now that's your mechanism and that's your card. So obviously that's going to fit on like that, and this is going to pull, and your flaps are going to open like that, okay? So now this needs fixing to there. Now the first thing I'm going to do is, like Made Up Craft suggested, is to reinforce, this back piece, just because it's going to get a lot of action being pulled in and out. So what she suggested was just to glue a piece of cardstock onto the back there. And I'm going to turn it around for this, and also I'm going to pop my pulley ribbon in between so it's nicely wedged in, okay? And then I'm going to glue it down using this white piece of card. Plenty of glue on there, and I'm going to pop that over the top of there just to reinforce it and to also hold that ribbon in extra tight. So now what you want to do, so you've got your ribbon piece there, yeah? Now what you want to do is you want to take your strip, this also around your back strip, okay? So push that down, and then have your last flap stick onto there. Okay, so push that down, glue that down, and then now everything's wrapped securely around. Glue put whatever adhesive you're going to use, but only put it on the strip, don't put it anywhere else. And then what you want to do is get the whole thing lined up and push it all down onto your card. Close your card and give it a good old press. You open it up and that mechanism makes everything flap open and closed, and it's nice and secure. So thanks for watching, and